Friends, it's Marquise Martin Hayes, and I am so delighted to be with you live once again on Thriving Thursdays. You know how we like to do it. We get together, we interview and connect with my friends or referrals who become friends, and we unlock. We find ways to thrive. We use people's life story, journey, vision, passion, focus, future to help us unlock so we can not only live, but learn to thrive in our lives. As you know, always, there's a couple things I'd like to share with you. First of all, out the gate, you know the skincare line that I use, Rodan & Fields. Today is the last day of the Rodan-iversary sale. What does that mean, Marquise? That means if you like my skin and you want to improve and enhance and find tools to use on your skin, dermatology that is, not just skincare, Rodan & Fields is the way to go. Today's the last sale for 20% off. If you want to know more, inbox me. I'll gladly help guide you in the right direction. Second, I'd like to also talk a little bit about Vibe Massage by Team Doctors. Many of you know about the massage machines with the pointers on the end that kind of leaves bruises in you. This is done by Team Doctors. It's actually a pad, a full pad. I've been using their machine right now. It's been roughly 8 years. This is the new model, the handheld version. The reason why I like the flat pad is because it gets down to the spindle cells to help loosen them. It vibrates at such a high rate, it helps loosen your spindle cells, which allows your muscles to relax so that you can start redeveloping and stretching and moving again. I literally used it from an injury that I had in my hip where I was literally locked up and had a limp because I couldn't get my muscles to relax in my thigh and my quad. And so it was all janked up from running and training, a kind of a freak accident. After seeing several chiropractors, I finally went and saw Dr. Stockton at Team Doctors. He used a Vibe massage for a few hours, kind of helped got my muscles relaxed. And all of a sudden, after years, I started recovering. You want to know more? Hit me up. I'll take care of you. And last but not least, we are proudly sponsored by Willis Counseling and Consulting. Willis Counseling and Consulting supports the message of Thriving Thursdays, and they are a Chicago-based counseling practice that offers services to partners, individuals, families, and the like. They offer services via virtual appointments and in person in Chicago and in Naperville, Illinois. Everyday people sometimes need a tune-up on their mental wellness, and that's exactly what you get with Willis Consulting and Counseling. You can learn more about their services at www.williscc.com or text them directly from Facebook Messenger. Willis Consulting and Services sponsor me because they know that the message of Thriving Thursday is designed to empower you. But the reality is that sometimes Thriving Thursday isn't enough and you need professional assistance. Willis Consulting and Services can help you. Without further ado, let's jump into this week's show. I'm bringing on my friend, Monk Coleman. He is the author. He is the author of the book, Love Over Fear. Here's what I want you to know about him. He's the real deal. As you know, I don't bring people on for show. I don't have the room for it. I don't have the capacity for it. I only bring on people who are authentic, who've not necessarily been through something. That's not what I'm looking for, but who knows what they're talking about. And life's experience has definitely been the best teacher for Monk. So without further ado, let me bring in this author, this dynamic speaker, this amazing bodybuilder, father and husband. Monk, welcome to the show, my friend.
What's up, brother?
Man, things are good. Things are good. Listen, man, to get kicked off, I think what I want to do before I have you tell them more about you, the substance that makes people go, ooh, he's so cool. I want to just say, I think it's so cool that we met through a common source. Has
anybody ever told you look like an actor?
A few times.
You got an actor face. Did anybody ever tell you that?
Well, you
got an actor face.
You know, I also act.
I know you do. That's what I told you when I finally met you. I said, you got an actor face.
No, honestly,
like you look like an actor.
Well, that happened last week too. I was walking last week and someone said, you like an actor? And I just kind of started laughing like they don't even know the half of it. But
right.
Hey,
I'm just telling you, it's a good look.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. I will take it. And so, but this is not about me. This show's about you. You are the man of the hour. I'm just here to connect and facilitate good exchange.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
Teresa Jordan, our connection. to just like minds and common spirits who won't take no for an answer in this life is how we connected. When I finally met you, it was like meeting the legend. And what I mean by that is your presence in the social media world is significant. You've been a voice for clean eating. You've been a voice for clean thinking. You've been a voice for clean living. And so I was just like, man, that guy is really cool. Maybe, who knows? And all of a sudden he walks into the party. I'm like, get out of here.
You know, I seen you walking up the street, and I told my wife, I said, he's going to be at Teresa's party. He's going to be at Teresa's party. I knew it.
And I was there. I remember you told me that. And I was there. So it's neat, man, to connect with like minds, because for me, that's all life is about. And I feel like we are at a stage in our life, you and I, where we are the uncle now. We're the uncles. So we are the future. We're the ones that are to take the generation to the next place. And it's our time now. So I'm glad to be amongst great minds like yourself, man. And so it is my honor to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, man.
To jump in, tell us, man. Tell us all the sizzle. Like, don't be humble, as people say, you know, I don't know. I want you to talk about.
Well, you know, you spoke about the future. It's like we're at the stage in life where we have to change the narrative. We cannot let the same story be told and passed down.
Real talk.
Right? This was passed down to you, I'm sure, and it was passed down to me about what we're capable of, and the limits or the limits that are put on us just because of how we showed up.
Yep.
And this is a reason why so many Black and brown people, they settle.
Yep.
They settle in life because the story they believe.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm a one of 7 children, and my father passed away when I was about 3 years old. And then my mom, there was never a man in the house, and we were very poor. I mean, you know, poor, not just regular, like low middle class. No, poor. Like we was on the system the whole time I was in the house. So now my view of what life looks like, my hard drive is dysfunction.
Yeah.
Right. So even though in my mind, I don't want to be what I see.
Right.
I don't want to be broke. I don't want to have dysfunctional relationships. I realized how dysfunctional we were when I finally got old enough to go over to somebody else's house. That's how normalized it was for me to see dysfunction.
Well,
so
what do you mean?
So when I went to someone else's house, I was like, I know you've had this experience, maybe not. But so I went to someone else's house and I looked at them like eating dinner at the table and having good food and like communicating. I'm like, this is what like real families do. Like this is how you're supposed to act. This is not what I've ever experienced in my life.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? When you're used to dysfunction, so much dysfunction, when you see something that's different, you go, oh, I thought this was what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah,
right?
I understand.
So now my beliefs about life, my beliefs about this and that it's a program. So after we get programmed and we get older, even though you go, you know, I don't want to be that, you know that saying, hurt people. You know what I'm saying? So you're passing down this trauma and pain because you don't even know how to express it or to heal from it.
Right.
So your hard drive, your program, as you get older, it's always there unless we create something new.
Yes.
In order to create something new, we have to do something different.
Yes.
I did not. I just continued going, I'm not going to be like that. And I started getting older. The decisions I made, the reactive decisions that I made, put me on the fast track to that dysfunction.
Yeah.
So I ended up being exactly like my mom and my dad, right? My dad was, he was an addict and he was violent and he dealt with drugs and that type of thing. And, you know, my mom, she had, you know, kids by different people.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I have a lot of half siblings. And then when I got older, even though I didn't really want to go that route, I ended up there. And I didn't know how I ended up there.
I get it.
And it's because when your true beliefs about yourself, when pressure is applied in your life, they will expose themselves.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
When life gets hard, you're going to go to your default, and your default is that program.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm growing up, doing my thing. I was really indoctrinated in church because, and this is a crazy part. So I'm raised in church, given a story about how I'm supposed to act, going home, seeing the opposite.
Yeah.
And if I don't do what the story I'm told to do, I go to hell. But my whole family is doing the opposite of what this story is. So it's very confusing.
Yeah.
So you're scared on one hand, you're scared of going to hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the other hand, it's like, I guess my whole family's going to hell, but we're going to church. What is it all about, right?
How does this all come together?
How all these messages are different, right? So it's very confusing. So at one point when I was very young, I was stealing. I tried to stab my brother when I was like 5 years old.
Wait, what? Wait. You did what?
So at 5 years old, I was already running into stores stealing candy and stuff that I wanted because I was very poor. And I was running around with this other neighborhood kid, and we would do the most, right? We always had babysitters and things like that used to watch us when my mom was doing whatever she was doing. But my brother tried to mess with me. He a few years older than me, my older brother. And I pulled a knife out on him, and I was going to stab him. And we had a babysitter at the house. So this is the way I was as a young kid. But I got to the age where I understood the consequences of living like that through church. Mm-hmm. If you don't behave this way, if you behave the way you're behaving, you're going to get punished forever for it.
Right.
So when I understood heaven and hell, that concept, I started acting right. But the key was I was acting right because I was scared. It was fear.
I know firsthand, bro.
So it's fear.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime we make a decision out of fear, that's the wrong decision.
Absolutely. Hands down, every time.
So I started acting better because I was scared to death. But eventually I was sold on the whole concept. I was brainwashed, or whatever your word you want to use.
I get it.
And then I started getting older, and then my hormones kicked in.
Oh, God, I remember that.
So now, some of the rules that it says I can't do, I'm like,
hello? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? My hormones are going crazy. These women out here, and it's like, if I do this, I'm going to. And I got to the point where I was so tired of walking on eggshells. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go to hell, I'm going to go on my own terms. And I just went complete opposite of church. I ended up starting to sell cocaine. I started drinking. I started having multiple relationships. I wasn't treating people like I should treat people. Like the opposite of what church says to do.
Right.
I was doing the opposite. Understood. And anyway, it started, and it went quick. It went from 1 year, basically straight and narrow, to the very next year selling crack.
Wow.
Just
what happened? What happened for such a seemingly drastic shift? Because I'm saying seemingly because I've heard you talked about what it was like at 5, right? Like no 5-year-old just pulls a knife. Other than there's a whole lot of other stuff going on that's brought this 5-year-old to go, I don't know what else to do.
Right. Yeah. Right? It was so much dysfunction from my whole life until that point. Okay. So even when I'm young kids understand. Yeah, they right? do. You understand, and you deal with trauma however you deal with trauma. Yep. And I'm sure if you've seen young kids that have anger issues, well, I had an anger issue at a very young age. I had an anger issue. I don't know, it's because no male was there. I don't know what it was, but I was very angry. I was very angry, and it could have been trauma from before I was even born. Right? There's studies now where they say that trauma can be passed down. It's a fact. Yeah. And not only that, when you're in the womb, inside the mother, and my dad used to abuse my mother. So when you're hitting this woman or talking to this pregnant woman a certain way, I'm downloading all of this. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know why it was the way I was, but then when I got into my teenage years, I was just like, I went all in the other way. Yeah. And I did it for 20 something years. Wow. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't a big time drug dealer. It was really small time. I was doing it to make a little bit of money. Then I started selling I ended up selling a little bit of meth, and then coke, and then weed. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much, everything. At one point, I was paying my bills with it, so I was making a little bit of money, but whatever. But everybody started going to prison.
Oh, right? Okay, got it. Can I touch on something really quick, Mom?
Yeah.
One thing I've come to understand, people think, drug dealer, you're such a bad person. Oh, you're terrible. First of all, there are pharmaceutical drug dealers every day doing stuff underhand.
Drug dealers on the planet.
But I'm not supporting the life of a drug dealer. I'm just saying, you mentioned something that most people don't really understand. They just have this judgment concept because of how it's been put together for us. You were doing it to make a little bit of money. You didn't do it to just do it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you didn't say, I want this cat. You were like, no, I need a little bit of money.
Right. I wasn't doing it to. My dreams weren't. I want to be a drug dealer. That wasn't. True story. My oldest son, he's 29 years old, but he was in the hospital still, and I had a pocket full of, and this was 1992. Okay. I had a pocket full of cocaine for sale. So back then, we were getting a year and a half on the first offense, and then you're on paperwork. So even if you had a small amount, you'd get an automatic year and a half or something like that. That's what everybody was getting. That was getting popped when we were doing it. Yeah. It was the Clinton years. So I guess somebody had reported that we had some guns or something on us, but I had the coke in my pocket. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm going to drop this off. Something doesn't feel right. Because I seen a police officer way across the way, right? Mm-hmm. And I started walking, and before I knew it, 5 cars it seemed like nowhere, pulled up on us, had us down gunpoint, face down, in the grass, me and my boy. I'm like, I'm going to prison on the day my son is born. Like he's in the hospital right now. I'm like, I'm going to prison.
Right.
So they came up and handcuffed us, and what he did was he just pat searched me, and he did it where there were weapons would be found, because the report was there was weapons. So he didn't go in my pockets at all. So he put me in handcuffs, put me in a police car, put my other boy in the police car. Mm-hmm. And then when he came back, he goes, well, we heard there was weapons around. I said, look, you just searched me. If he would have felt my heart, it was pounded out of my chest, right? I said, you just searched me. And I lived close by, and I was to get his attention off of me, I said, you can check my house. And he goes, okay, let's go do that.
Oh, wow.
So he took the handcuffs off me. He went to the house, flipped up the mattresses, did all that, and then let me go. Yeah. But it was so many instances like that where I escaped going to prison. And I thought at first that I was just lucky. But I think if I would have went to prison, I would have had time to do some introspective work. I would have some time to think about what I was doing and how I was living. But I didn't. So I always got away. I got away with a lot. I got away with them not finding guns. I got away with me being drunk and high driving with drugs and guns. I got away with a lot, but I really wasn't getting away. I was really paying for all of it. I was paying for all of it with my lifestyle. I was killing myself.
Yeah.
So I had several kids by several different women. And now I'm in my 30s and I'm getting ready to go to Miami. So I go there, and don't get me wrong, I was always in pretty good shape on the outside.
Yeah.
Right. What I was doing to myself on the inside, that's a different story. So the lowest point in my life at the time was when I went to Miami, and after the first night of being there, I went to the bathroom. I was like, where's this blood coming from? And I was pissing blood. Wow. And I'm like, oh, I already don't know what life is all about. I'm just like, I've tried everything.
Yeah.
I've tried religion. I've had cars, all the women, the this, the that, everything that I thought was going to bring me peace. And it wasn't. And now my crutch is killing me. So how am I going to do this now? Alcohol was the only thing that made me feel okay.
Understood.
And don't get me wrong, I wasn't on the corner with a brown bag. I wasn't burnt out like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The stuff I was doing, the other people was doing it right with me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We was just going hard.
Yeah.
We were going hard, and it was, several times a week. This is how we did it. Smoke, eat, and drink. This is what we did. So now I have this thing going on, and this is how I found out I was an addict, because I couldn't stop after that.
Mm.
You know, most people will see that and be like, I ain't never drinking again. But guess what? I did.
Yeah.
It was, go ahead.
We're on this journey, which I love. You're getting us there because there's so much to talk about, which I already know, and you're giving us the history behind it. And this might be a little ahead of the schedule. These things are happening. You're getting away. Here's where I want to go for just a moment. A lot of times, we as society dehumanize what your life experience was like that was driving you. Are you aware now of what was driving you all those years?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay.
So all our experiences are trying to get us to self-realize.
Okay.
Good or bad.
Okay.
Everything that comes into our life is there for us.
Yes.
And it's a hard thing to understand, and it's a hard pill to swallow because we like to play the victim so very much.
Yeah, we do.
But without these experiences, if I would have just kept coasting the way I was coasting, not living a purposeful life, just floating around, if this experience didn't happen to me, we would not be talking right now. I'd be somewhere at happy hour, chilling, just shooting the shit with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
doing nothing of value.
Having a regular job or doing whatever, not looking to help others, to see and to heal and to grow, not having the occupation that I have now with that experience that I thought was the worst experience ever at the time. So all the things that are happening to us is trying to get us to wake up. It's trying to get us to realize who we are. Yeah. Right. So it's like this. It's going to tap. And whatever you call it, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's all interchangeable. Alan Watts has this quote that I always say is the word water cannot make you wet. So the word is just pointing to something, right? Yeah. So we look at something and we call it something else. Both of us, we call it something different. It still doesn't change what it is. Correct. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So all that is interchangeable. Yeah. But it's all these experiences are getting us to realize ourselves as part of the whole, as part of the whole. Yeah. This is where the oneness stuff comes in. Yeah. When you get to start to know self, you realize self is also Marquise. Yeah. Right? You see what I'm saying? You start to connect to the love that's within you. Yeah. And that is the God within you. And when you start to do that, your life starts to express that. You know what's interesting, bro? Everything, this is not summarizing you, but two things. One, a friend of mine, Soul, she'll be on the show soon. She always says, I am you and you are me. But everything that we are cultured to go after, to desire, or we're deprived of that we need is designed to keep us away from self-realization. So we're chasing something because once we stop chasing and we become one with ourselves and understand our oneness in society and the world, none of those things matter anymore. Yeah. You know what the key to life, right? The key to life is realizing who you are, because when you realize who you are, you realize that, like I said, Marquise is me as well. Yeah. So when you realize who you are and you realize that you're love, you realize that you're love, then your life starts to express that everywhere. Yeah. In everything. Yeah. Right? You give off this vibe because the more you move back to self, the more your life expresses love. Period. Yeah. Yes. It has to. Period. Because that's what you are. Yes. So when you're so far removed from who you really are, it's dark. You're away from the light. Right? You know that saying that it's like there's light at the end of the tunnel? Yeah. I say there's no light at the end of the tunnel. You are the light. You're just so far from the light, you think it's separate from you. That's good. We are the light. Good. The more we move back to self, the more we give that light off and the more we share that light with others. It's the vibration. When we move back to love, we become bright. We
Yeah.
become attractive to other people. People are drawn to us like moths to the light.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, man. When you start to live in your truth, not this outer skin color, not the story that was given to you,
Yeah.
but who you are.
Yeah.
Once you know who you are, but then you can play the game, right? The game society plays, but you can play it from a loving place, knowing it's a game instead of getting caught up in it.
It's good.
And that's what I do. I don't need to get caught up in this going back and forth, this politics, this and that and the other, because I know who I am, right? The best thing I can do is step back, sprinkle some love on it, not jump in there and get dirty, because I don't care if you jump into whatever you're jumping into. If it's dirty, you're gonna come out dirty.
Yeah, it's real.
Period.
It's real.
You think you're gonna be in there and change people's minds? No, you just gonna get dirty. Both of y'all gonna be dirty. So when you start to become more conscious, you know when to jump in and when to just sit back and we just send love to the situation and not get involved emotionally.
That's interesting. Can you speak on, like, so we're in a season, that's not true, it's probably always been around, but there's been a high season of what involvement looks like, what caring looks like, what woke looks like. But I've been on the side of what does love look like? Not avoiding anything, but what does love look like in terms of how I show up as a participant in the requirement, demand, shift for change? And for me, it didn't look like me being on the streets. It looks different for me. Right? You're able to talk a little bit about, like, I'm not saying someone who marches has a problem. I think, hey, there's room for that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, how does one figure out where they fit? Like, we're talking up here, right? You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of what we get sucked into is really right here. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my opinion on all that.
Sure.
A lot of people like to stay angry, and staying angry is staying in fear. There's only two emotions. There's love and fear, right? And one it's gonna be under these two umbrellas, right?
Good.
So there's nothing wrong with being angry.
Yeah. There's a time for that.
As a jump off point. But when you move, whatever action you take, that anger has to go. Right? Anger can be the key for you making a move, but when you move, you got to move with a place of love. Right? So say I see something that makes me really angry and I want to go out and march. So if I'm marching angry, I'm bringing that energy. You see what I'm saying? It's just that my energy is going to be matched. You see what I'm saying? And when I look back at like Martin Luther King, and people say he was soft, we must understand love is the most powerful force in the universe. And he moved in love. He understood it. He understood that you cannot bring hate and expect an outcome besides hate. You cannot do that.
Good, man.
It's a law of attraction. So now something makes me really angry and I get super angry. I wanna take action.
Yeah.
Now, when I take action, I'm going to get right before I take action. I'm not going to bring that anger and that fear. I'm going to bring love when I take action. So anger is good, but when you hold on to anger for long periods of time, it's toxic and it's going to tear you down.
I agree. Monk, we're experiencing something, maybe it's everywhere. I don't know. I live in Chicago the majority of the time. And the conversation here, based on what you're talking about, is there's a lot of conversation about conceal and carry. Like, everybody wants to conceal and carry. And I'm just like, that ain't gonna take us nowhere. Like, I get it, but no one can convince me that they want to conceal and carry without a baseline of fear.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think that's gonna change anything? And I understand the fear, but I don't know how to help people connect. I don't know how to help the conversation elevate, right? In part because the government's putting guns in situations, in tense scenarios to incite it, right? So I get that.
Absolutely.
But I don't know how to have a more elevated conversation that moves into love so that change can actually transpire. Because me capping somebody, that's not going to change, not positive.
No.
Thing.
Oh.
So I kept my car.
So this is the reason why it's so important. And let me back up, because when I got to that point, and my lowest point, I didn't know what to do, and I don't know why meditation came into play at that time.
Okay.
Right. So I said, I have to, after a party one night, I'm like, if I don't, I just found out, you know, I was having another baby. And after a party one night, I was just like, this is it. This is when I stopped drinking. This was almost 13 years ago. I said, I have to force a stop. And I did. I forced it. And it was crazy because now all the stuff I was suppressing and repressing was coming up, and I had to deal with it sober. I didn't know how to deal with it. You know, I was chain smoking Newports. I didn't know how to deal with it, man. Something that was missing in my life.
Okay.
A big part of my life was missing without the alcohol. So whenever I felt frustrated or anxious, I couldn't have a drink to take that edge off. Mm-hmm. I had to sit with it. Mm-hmm. And I even started to sit with it even further with my meditation. Mm-hmm. And crazy stuff started to come up. And it started to come up fast and hard. Mm-hmm. Because now I'm not only don't have alcohol, but I'm choosing to sit with my own thoughts in silence.
Yeah.
And you know, the voices are loud when you choose to sit, and that's why a lot of people don't meditate, because it's too loud for them. There's too much. They don't want to deal with it, so it's like, nah, I can't sit down and listen to this. Mm-hmm. Right. So what I did was I made friends with these voices.
Okay.
I made friends with my fears, okay. And I started to be able to process this stuff. This stuff started to get purged, and it became every year it became lighter. I became lighter and lighter. I wasn't so heavy. I didn't have so much packed in, right? I started to clean out the closets. I was doing spring cleaning. Yeah. All this emotional baggage that I was holding on to. Yeah. Yeah. All this trauma that I didn't think I had started to change. And I started to be connected to that love thing I was talking about. Yeah. And I started to become more compassionate, and I didn't know why. But I stuck with the meditation every day. It's been over a decade now. And still to this day, I'm still evolving, and I'm still having, you know, magical experiences meditating, Kundalini awakenings, crown chakra opening. These things I didn't even know about, but they happened to me, and I had to look them up. Mm-hmm. So I was clearing out all this energy. Mm-hmm. And the thing people don't understand about meditation, and I didn't know before, is it actually grows parts of your brain. Literally. It grows gray matter. It grows your prefrontal cortex.
I did hear about it. Keep telling me. Keep going. I heard a little bit about it.
And it shrinks parts of your brain that causes anxiety. So, man, this is a win-win-win, right? So not only did it do that, it brought me to such a compassionate state that I was eating one time, and someone said, "Are you a vegetarian?" And I was just like, "Yes." I didn't even know why I said it.
Okay.
So subconscious program was getting changed. So we got to understand everything we were given initially was given. Everything we believed initially was given to us. Our religion, our diet, our belief system, what we believe about marriage, or lack of marriage, right? Yeah. What we believe we deserve, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So now someone goes, "Are you a vegetarian?" Because I was eating a vegetarian omelet. And man, when I said yes. And when I said yes, it was like someone else said yes. But I believe that someone else will never eat meat again.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Right. So I said yes, and I was like, why did I say that? It was almost like someone was speaking through me, right?
Right.
I looked it up immediately after I left that. I started looking it up. I'm like, meditation, vegetarian, and the connection.
Okay.
The connection between meditation and not putting animals in your body. And it's because I did compassion. It's because I did not want to hurt any other beings, even if they were not human beings.
Okay.
Beings that feel, sentient beings. And I said, you know, that makes sense, because even as a meat eater, and I used to eat a lot of chicken, if someone said you have to kill your food first to eat it, I would be a vegetarian. I wouldn't kill anything, even as a meat eater.
Right.
I couldn't do that. I didn't have that capacity.
Right.
So if I couldn't do it, why am I partaking in it? Right? It's almost like you send your little homie to go knock somebody down or go rob a bank, but you won't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hypocritical, right? So I'm eating this, but I won't go there. I don't want anything to do as far as the process of it, right? I'm just going to say, let's go do to the bank, bring my money back. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing to do with it. Just, I want the end result. And as I kept meditating further and further, I understood the egg process. Go ahead.
You messing with me. I'm trying to leave it alone.
Come on, man, speak it.
Because it's like we go, that country's wrong, go to war. but none of us are stepping on the front line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, what's we got the military for? We're disassociated, and because we're disassociated, we think it's okay.
Yep.
Not realizing that if we needed to be on the front line and really process what was transpiring, not fanaticism, but really are present to what's transpiring, we might think a little bit different.
It's called integrity. It's called integrity, right?
Yeah, that's a good word.
So, perfect example. You won't eat dog, right? You're not a dog eater, right? And then, this is a perfect example of our programming. So, dog is put up on a pedestal. Dog is man's best friend. I promise you, if it was a dog instead of George Floyd, the whole country would be in an outrage.
Bruh, we already have proof of that.
Right. So here we go. Dogs put up on a pedestal. A dog and a pig. A pig is actually smarter than a dog. So why do we choose one over the other? And it's the only reason is because since day one, we were told that dogs deserve love and bacon is good, right?
Right.
So in other countries, where they eat dog,
right,
we throw a fit, and they're the most horrible country in the world, right?
Yeah, right. In our mind.
But then in other countries, cows are sacred, and we don't care about their sacred cow.
That's right.
We eat that every day.
That's correct.
You see how
we just
you see the hypocrisy in all this?
Absolutely. It's
only because our story is our truth, and we can't see outside of that story, and none of it's true. And what meditation got me beyond the story, what I can do with myself, what a Black person can do with their life, the oneness of all beings that are able to feel. Every single animal that we eat has the capabilities and the abilities to love their children and feel pain and feel joy and to suffer.
But you said something so rich, bro. You said meditation gets me beyond my story.
Exactly. Beyond my story.
I know you're giving us context, but so many of us live in this story of rightness, of whatever, of judgment. And keep going, man. I just couldn't miss that, bro. That was so rich.
And that's why politics. Look, by the time we're grown, we're put in so many boxes. And if our boxes bump heads against other people's boxes, that's separation.
Yep.
Right. And when there's separation, there's fighting, there's killing. This is how wars are started. Look, if your government wants us to not be united, they spark up these conversations that cause separation. Right? This side, that side, this side, this side. So just think, if say you're a Black man that has a problem with the white man, and you're a Republican and he's a Democrat. There's two boxes that are going against each other right now, right?
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a Muslim, he's a Christian. There's three. So how many things do we need to have till we hate this person because of this story?
The story.
Their story and our story don't get along. Not the human being.
Right.
Not the deeper connection that we all have.
Right.
And it's so simple to see now.
Yeah.
I was caught up in that whole thing as well.
Yeah.
And it's if you took a group of people and didn't give them a story, they would just all grow up as these beings that judged not even judged each other, that looked at each other for what they were or what they were.
They create some amazing things.
What if you didn't introduce religion? What if you didn't introduce politics? What if you just took these young beings and put them on an island and just let them enjoy each other and love each other? Yeah. That's all we want in life, is to love and be loved.
Yeah. That's accurate. Yeah.
That's it, right? That's it. But then we all start looking for that outside of ourselves. And this is where the issue starts to come into play, right? If I get $1 million, I'll be happy. If I get the right woman, I'll be happy. If I have this, I'll be happy. If I finally get the job that I want, my life is complete. I'm gonna be at peace. And this is how you know it's all BS, because you can see the most successful actors or whatever profession they're in with the most money and unlimited amounts of mates and end up killing themselves. Well, why are they doing that? Because when they get to where they think it's going to bring them something, the goalpost always moves. They never get it. They're always looking outside of themselves. And all they have to do is turn around and look inside, and it's all there. And that's what meditation did for me. It made me connect to that peace, that love, everything that I was looking for externally.
Yeah.
I just turned around and it was waiting for me.
Wow. I get it. And that came through getting comfortable with the voices, friending them, and releasing the ones that didn't serve you through meditation.
Yes. It's just like the little kid that's nagging you. If you just ignore them, they start to lose their power. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the little nagging. You hear me, you hear me, you hear me, and I'm just like, I hear you, but I'm not even gonna give you any attention. Right.
Yeah. And in one, out the other.
I'm not gonna entertain that thought.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just let you do your thing until you get tired of talking. Right. Yeah. And the thing about it is it's an everyday thing. I'm sitting for at least a half hour, usually an hour and a half a day, because I know how important it was to the transformation of my life.
Yeah.
I know how important. Without that, this wouldn't be here.
Yes. Love over fear.
Without that, this wouldn't be here. And I never in a million years, if you would have asked me 15 years ago, are you going to write a book about transformation? I'd be like, get out of here. You know, you're going to be sober. You're going to be faithful. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. I was like, nah. You're going to be hanging out with some amazing people like Marquise. I would be like, nah, I ain't gonna. But you know what I'm saying? Like you don't even understand where your life can go when you really live from a place of love.
Yeah, man.
You don't know where it's going to take you, man. Love is attractive.
Yeah.
And it's going to open doors for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anybody else's, like, what anybody else thinks about you.
Yeah.
Love you.
It's real talk.
Love you. Without loving you, you can't properly, you're always concerned about what somebody's thinking about, or, you know, it's like, love yourself, and whoever's going to be in your circle is going to be in your circle. Yeah. And if it's nobody, guess what? You're your biggest cheerleader. As long as you love you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you gotta be. It's so funny. You talked about how loving yourself becoming that key. It took me back 1 second to, I had heard or read about meditation. Had been around a very long time in Western societies, but it was a secret thing. Only upper echelon European Americans knew about it and would practice it, but were successful. Women couldn't practice, couldn't know about it, and how the access available through meditation and stilling your mind and getting quiet opens up a world of self-love, opens up a world of internal fortitude and satisfaction, such that one is not needed to have it from the outside. How that's more available now, and I love that. And I'm saying that to say, I've noticed, I've not meditated to the degree you're describing, but I've noticed that for me in my life, that how over the last, year and a half, but certainly the last few years, me learning to love me, like all of me, like there is no bad me, there is just me. And I love what it all looks like, desires, cravings, passions, visions, dreams, all of it has just opened up a new world to me that's effortless.
That's amazing.
Meaning it's my success and who I am is not based on anything outside of my authenticity within.
Yes, that's amazing.
It feels so freeing, bro.
Yeah.
So freeing.
Yeah.
Who I am is not dictated by anything you create.
No.
And I feel so good behind it. And I walk different. I talk different. I look different. I feel different. I move different because of that. And it's amazing how you're talking about how this has happened. Because as I look at my life now, so many things have begun to open up. Like you talked about the book now. Bodybuilding. Like, tell us, what else have you, as a result of meditation and time that you've been a part of, what else has shown up?
Well, like you said, the book and the bodybuilding and veganism. And I realized that I'm here to be a messenger. I love messenger. See, meditation isn't something you just leave on the mat when you're done.
Okay. You
take it with you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
When you leave yourself available and when you're living from a place of love, the people will walk up and just start conversation with you like deep conversations about themselves, and you don't even know them.
Yeah.
You make yourself so available because of the energy that you carry.
Yeah.
And then we've had this conversation, and it was like, oh, you were sent to me today. Stuff like that, like mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah.
And then you never see that person again.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can walk through here on such an elevated space that you're a walking healer. You are, I mean, when you go to the store and just the smiles and just, when you're in a good place, and I know you know this, when you feel really good, people come up and talk to you.
Yeah.
People smile at you. People just randomly do stuff because you're giving off that energy.
Yeah. Bro, you know what's so funny about what you're saying right now? It's resonating for me is that we started off talking about your experience, and we talked a little bit about church and how it really didn't synchronize for you at that time in life, and whatever it looks like. But what you're describing right now is that Christ lifestyle, not purporting any religion, but the man Christ, as we understand it, was the space of love, just living, breathing, talking, living, walking. Yes. And it's that is what I understand religion was supposed to be all about. Yes. Is to be the space of love and openness and freedom for others. And it's beautiful how just the journey of meditation led you to being faithful, authentic, inspiring, an author, eating cleaner, therefore feeling better, therefore having more compassion. Like, it's incredible, like the access of meditation as you've described it. That's amazing, bro.
It was a key. It was like a portal to a whole nother life. And that's why in my book, I talk about it a lot, but that's why when I do my coaching, I'm like, a lot of people want to work outside in, but it's really the work is inside out.
Amen.
So a lot of people I want my body to be like this. I want to work on this. I want to work on, if you really want to align with what you're supposed to be doing and how you're going to do it, you got to get still. The answers are in stillness. There's a book, I think it's Eckhart Tolle. It's called Stillness Speaks.
Okay.
Stillness speaks louder than anything, because when you get still and you stop trying to avoid things with TV and just being busy for no reason, right? That's a lot of times we're just busy for no reason because we really don't want to get still and listen to what's going on inside.
Right.
If I stay busy, I ain't got to deal with that little guy up there that's running around talking a bunch of mess, right?
Yeah.
When you start to get still and you can really see what's there, not from a place of judgment, but just what's there, then you're going to be able to process what's there. Like, why am I thinking like this? Why am I doing the things I'm doing? We never question what we do in our lives. We're just so automatic. We just do it, right? Why do I attract the same type of person in my relationships? Why do I always have the same hangups? Right. Start asking yourself these type of questions. Right. Where is this all stemming from? Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
How do we move past it? Yeah. So when I tell people, man, if not anything else, when you get up in the morning, have a morning routine before you start your day, because it puts you on a different trajectory out into the world.
Yeah.
Just get up real fast and run out. You stop.
Yeah.
You give thanks. You go through gratitude. If you sit for a couple minutes, sit for a couple minutes. Breathe. Stretch. Go. This day's gonna be amazing. Talk to yourself. Do some affirmations, and then walk out of the house. You're prepared now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Speak on that affirmations really quick, because listen, that's been one of my keys that helps correct how I live my day and impacts the choices I choose to make when I'm consistently in my affirmations. Could you just speak on that really quick?
Yeah. So the important thing that a lot of people don't know about affirmations, because people say affirmations don't work. It's not necessarily the words that you're speaking, it's the emotion that comes with them. So you can repeat any words you want to repeat, right? But if you're not feeling what that word means, right? If you say something like, I am amazing. If you don't feel that amazing, you're not really affirming anything, right? Yeah. It's that emotional part of affirmations that create a different reality.
Yes.
So as you speak it, you feel it. As you feel it, you speak it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right. So a lot of people that say they get some affirmations, they just read them off like they're reading a book. No,
Yes.
So what I would do is I would read them all once, and then I'd go back and read one at a time, and I would feel it.
Yeah.
I am love. I am
Yeah.
amazing. I am beautiful. And I'll pause between each one, and I'll feel that I am healthy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the key to affirmations. In the book too, I say, put sticky notes up. Remind yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of times we get so caught up, we forget to do things we should do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Put reminders for yourself, man. We got these devices that can to let us know whenever we need to do something.
Everything.
Use them. Take advantage of these things. These things can be good things or they can be bad things.
Right.
Use them for the good, right? They're tools. I always say all the stuff, they're all tools. I mean, you can take a hammer and you can hit somebody with it, or you can take a hammer and build a house for a single mother.
Real talk.
It's still the same hammer.
Yeah.
So you can use this to be destructive and hateful, or you can use it for love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We can use this for growth. We can use this for information that's going to help us with our lives, right?
Yes, sir. It's good talk, man. I appreciate that. Listen, I heard you say a couple of things, and I want to make sure people, number one, know how to follow you and get in touch with you. Two, I heard you talk about the book. I want to make sure they can purchase the book, support you, share it, and grow themselves. Three, you talked about coaching and how they can get in touch with you for coaching. Four, we did not touch on bodybuilding, but we got about 8 minutes for you to slide, 6 minutes because I got to close, but for you to slide some of those things in that you really want people to know.
Yeah, so you can. My website is monketernal.com, and I also have my social medias on there as well. And I believe I have updated it, so my book is on there as well. But you can get my book on Amazon, and you're gonna see a picture of me on there just like that. And yeah, what else? There's coaching services. You can get me at monketernal.com. There you go. And then Amazon for the book. And the bodybuilding thing is something I use to talk about more important things.
Oh, of course. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it's a platform. The reason why I am where I am today is because of a lot of people are superficial. So if they can see something to make them stop for a minute, right? Make them stop for a minute. And then I can go, hey, let's talk about something that really matters, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying the body doesn't matter, but the way the body looks doesn't necessarily matter. A healthy body matters, but they want to see, the muscles and all that stuff. And that's good. And I can use that as to get you to stop for a second so we can talk about some more important things, right? Let's heal together.
Yeah.
Let's love together. Let's live together. All these things.
Tell me one thing really quick, if you will, because I know there's some guys watching, because men like connecting when brothers get on for real. How long have you been a vegan or plant-based bodybuilder? And I'm asking that because some guys are still learning. They don't really understand the connection quite yet because, again, they're listening to what they're being told versus actually discovering. Can you speak on that a little bit? So
I didn't start competing till I was a vegan.
Wow.
And I'm 51 now. And that was at 45. And I already had been vegetarian for 2 years and vegan for 1 year when I had my first competition. And now I do natural bodybuilding and I do physique bodybuilding, right? So they test you and all that stuff. So that's why, I'm not big. I got a little something, but I'm not a big guy, but because we're natural, they test your urine, and I also do physique. I have the board shorts and stuff like that. But the lies out there about the protein, the lies out there about what you need to eat. Look, I compete against 20-year-olds. I compete against 30-year-olds, and I'm also a natural pro. So
that's right.
There, hey, I like to run my mouth. You've been hearing my mouth for about an hour now. So I go in there and I speak on these things.
That's what's up, bro.
I go backstage and I speak on these things. These young kids are piling all this steak and stuff and stuff that's not good for them in their bodies.
Yeah.
And then they see me and I tell them, I haven't eaten meat for 8 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's been 8 years since almost 9. In 7 years, I've no dairy, no eggs, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, because the story is protein equals meat, but that's not true.
No, it's not true at all.
So what I do with them, because I'm their dad's age.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So what I do with them, I put things in perspective. I said, well, what is your, and not to talk down on anybody, but I say, what does your father look like? And then their eyes get big like, oh, you're my father's age. My father has the standard American diet. His belly's out to here.
Yeah.
He has no type of medication.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't have to eat like this till you get like that.
Right.
You can do something different, right? Don't fall for it. This is all the industry propaganda that's making you fall for this.
Yeah. Yeah. True story. Again, more of the outside in telling you versus you creating your own affirmations, or as my mentor used to say, Roosevelt Hunter, you creating your own script.
Yes.
Of who you are.
Yes. And it's never too late to rewrite that script.
Yeah.
I love working with older people that believe they can't do anything else because it happens real quick that they realize that's not true. So the longer we play out this script, the more solid it seems to us, right? That's why it's easy. It's easy for a younger kid to go, okay, I can try something different if they have a good mentor or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Keep them on the right path. But yeah, it's harder when the older you get. You're so comfortable with the role. Why would you switch? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've been doing this for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
But it's never too late to change. It's never too late to really find out what you're here for, man. Because if you haven't found out yet, it's still waiting for you.
You're here.
It's still waiting for you. Any age, you can have that peace in your life that you've always wanted. You can have love in your life that you can have healthy relationships. It doesn't have to be the same thing. There's people my age still struggling, still fighting with their partner every day, still doing the same things every day.
Yeah.
We don't want it, but we don't know how to get out of it. And I can help you get out of it.
It's good, man. Thank you, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So glad you're on, man. I can't wait to hang out with you. I gotta get back out to what I call home, back out in Cali, so we can play. But I'm so glad you joined me on here, man, to empower people. Like,
man, I appreciate you for having this platform and for having me on. And
man. It's my love to the planet. It's my love to the planet.
Love you, brother.
You too. Hang out in the waiting green room for a sec. I'll be right with you. So you heard it from Monk Coleman. Meditation is a key that can open up a whole new world for you to discover the love that you actually are. And love is the greatest strength. Your ability to refrain, your ability to be present and give from a place of wholeness is your greatest gift to society. I got some dope friends. That's all I can really say. Follow Monk at monketernal.com. Pick up his book, Love Over Fear, and find out how you can transform your life. Or hand it to the young person who hasn't figured out for themselves how to get on the path that you think is right for them. Do yourself the favor of being the space for someone else to discover their truth. This is Marquise Martin Hayes. It is my pleasure and my honor to serve and be your host of Thriving Thursdays. See you next week.